But we've also got Mayuresh Joshi joining us this morning. So, Mayuresh, good to have you with us as always. I feel like the last couple of weeks we've just been treading water. So, even I'm like, what do I ask Mayuresh this morning? How has the world changed since last week? But what do you say? What should we be looking at today, Mayuresh?
Morning, Abha. Morning, Shell. I think it seems to be a positive start as far as sentiments are concerned. But what really goes on in front of the geopolitics over the next few days and weeks will still have a say in terms of how markets behave. However, I think two positive things. One, I think in terms of earnings, a large part of the expectations is that earnings should be relatively better in Q3. With the kind of trends that we've seen in Q2. And therefore, I think earnings should start holding out as we speak. And second, I think in terms of budgetary expectations itself, the large part of the market expectation is that it should be a well-balanced out budget, both in terms of the fiscal number, the current account deficit number, the kind of capex spends, the bank borrowing. And in my opinion, and our opinion at Markets with India, no tinkering as far as anything related to capital markets is concerned, which will be a huge positive also. And therefore, I think both these aspects should play out. If geopolitics turns out to be a lot more saner and better over the next few weeks, that will probably add fuel in terms of what we've probably seen. So again, I think hopeful and optimistic for some element of a reasonable bounce back and a rally into the markets. It will be stock and sector specific, but in my opinion, I think I do not foresee a structural downside for our markets.
Good morning to you, Mayuresh. A very warm welcome and, of course, a Happy New Year and best wishes for Makar Sankranti. At William O'Neill, any 2 or 3 stocks that you're looking at as far as research-based outputs are concerned ahead of third quarter earnings?
Morning, Shell. Great season greetings to you, Abha, and the entire team at Business Today. Hope you guys have a fantastic year full of good health, wealth, and prosperity. Nestle India is something that we've recently added as a momentum pick at MarketSmith India. Our sense is that FMCG as a pack generally should have better numbers. Nestle India anyway had a decent and a stellar quarter in Q2. And if they're able to build on that in terms of volumes, in terms of their sub-segment performance, whether it comes to confectionery, milk products, infant care, etc., and input cost remaining largely stable on a quarter-on-quarter and a year-on-year basis, you might expect a decent and a reasonable set of numbers as we head into this quarter itself. So preempting a strong set of numbers from Nestle India. The PSU banks generally, I think, have held up pretty well, even in the downfall, Shell. And therefore, our own sense is that PSU numbers should be relatively better. The numbers which have come so far have been stellar. Look at Bank of Maharashtra, look at Union Bank of India. They have posted very good set of numbers. And therefore, I think out of the large banks, State Bank probably seems to be well poised. Even with a large base, numbers should be relatively.
Okay, so PSU banks is definitely the theme that both Mayuresh and Shell have flagged this morning. What about IT, Mayuresh? I was picking up the kind of up move we're seeing in the pre-open. All the earnings are out. Now, post TCS and HCL, we still saw a subdued reaction. But today, we're seeing a phenomenal uptake post Infi. So is it the Infi effect, or is it now that we've seen all the numbers out? Infi has, in fact, raised guidance, and that may be what is really inspiring the markets.
Absolutely, no two ways about it. I think Infi's guidance and the numbers have probably led to the kind of move that you're probably seeing. And the market is expecting that at some point of time, as you head into Q4, this current quarter, how discretionary spending patterns will evolve will definitely determine the trend for the coming year. But generally, I think looking at the entire argument between AI and our business models that our IT companies are having. Obviously, the need for continuing with business outsourcing is still expected to continue. And therefore, I think as models evolve, specifically on the AI front, which all these companies are doing in a hyperscale mode, if I may put it that way. I think the next few quarters might be steady state. But as they scale up, both organically and inorganically, as far as the AI business is concerned, I think the general trend going in numbers after FY27 might be looking positive. Valuations, as I said, for large cap IT are cheaper compared to mid cap IT, and therefore being selective is key. But yes, Infy's numbers were much better than what the street probably expected, and that is what is giving impetus to the sector as well.
9:13, Abha. I think IT will be the spotlight today. 1.6% higher on the index itself. That's a 600-point uptick on the IT index. In particular, we'll keep an eye out on Infy, on TCS, and of course the two small ones, Coforge and Persistent. What are you watching, Mayuresh, in terms of the metal space?
So I think base metals have done phenomenally well. So whether it's in copper, in zinc, to a large extent, Nalco, Hindalco has also participated. So I think base metals have done a large part of the rally. I think the next move can actually come from the steel stocks. So ferrous players can actually have a good say into the market. The anti-dumping, or the safeguard duties introduced, obviously abets. And therefore, I think the next leg of metals might actually be carried out by the ferrous stocks in a row.
In fact, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company is, is significant in the sense that chip stocks were among the market's biggest winners in the session after Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company looked to invest $250 billion in the U.S. chip making under the new trade deal. So that's boosting semiconductor stocks at this point. We'll pull those up for you as well. This morning just to see how they're spiking, but that was definitely in action as well. Okay, I think we've got opening ticks on your screen, 25722, a small uptick on the index, and I think that's largely driven by IT this morning. The Nifty Bank is steady, just a marginal tinge of green right now, but it's IT all the way, 1.5% up on the IT index, and auto about 0.2% up. Let's pull up the gainers and losers and just take a look at some of those individual counters. I think you'll see green across the screen when it comes to the IT majors. Infy, Wipro, that's top of the charts. Infy's up about 4% this morning. M&M from the auto pack, Nestle, then you have TCS again from IT. ITC is also up about 0.8%. So these are your major contributors this morning. NTPC, Tech Mahindra bringing up that list. On the downside, fair amount of weakness coming in. Zomato, Ciplo, Apollo Hospitals, those are heavy knocks coming in, 3-4%. ONGC, Sun Pharma, Bharti about 1% down this morning. Looking at the kind of steep knock we're seeing on some of those names, Mayuresh, one could deduce that the market sentiment is still fairly bearish. So while we may be seeing, a burst of green on the IT names on the back of what we've heard from Infosys, overall we're still seeing a fair amount of bearish pressure.
Yes, because I think there is still some element of doubt as far as discretionary orders are concerned, what pricing these orders might come through. And therefore, I think it is going to be a very specific action, specifically with the new labor codes kicking in. There's going to be a one-time impact, as we've seen from the numbers so far, as far as IT majors or the tier 2 companies are concerned as well. But generally, I think trends should evolve in this quarter. But mid-cap, I think the trends going by precedent and how the quarters have played out seem to be a little bit better placed as we speak.
But would you look for any kind of upside in some of these pockets?
No, they always react, right? Once the budget announcement is done and once we come closer to the budget. So as I said, I think it should be a well-balanced budget as we head into 1st Feb. But generally, I think the trends in terms of infra spending, capex, fiscal guidance is something to be watched out for.
Mayuresh, given that, public capex has been slow or at least not up to the kind of mark that the government has been aiming for or calling out for, do you think they will be forced to kind of draw out some kind of outlay for public capex? Assuming they have the room to do so, because, either they do that or they continue to try and boost household income, which they already did last budget.
Excuse me for that, I think I have a bad throat.
Okay, yeah.
No, I think there should be reasonable amount of allocations as well.
Take a minute, Mayuresh. Please have a glass of water. Just take a minute. No stress at all. We'll come back to you on that. Meanwhile, Vari Renewable Technologies is up about 4%. Let's pull up that counter for you. The company had a profit of 53 crores, PAT at 120 crores, and this is a net profit of 53 for the last quarter, while overall profit stood at 120. And in the sense, they've also got a fair amount of positive traction coming in on their order book as well. Zen Technologies is up about 6%. The company has secured 400 crores again in defense contracts. So if Mayuresh is feeling better, I'm going to go back to him. I know we were talking about rail earlier. Now we've got defense also moving. Zen Technologies up 6%. And that's exactly what I was saying, that some of these government order-related counters are all moving ahead of budget. More on public capex and structural shifts. Mayuresh, if you're feeling a little better, I'll come back to you on that.
Oh, yes. No, I think the capex outlay should be very reasonable and very good as we speak. And therefore, I think the budgetary allocations that might happen within the capex budget that the government will decide, defense will get a good share. You're going to see infrastructure get a good share as well. And therefore, I think as the budgetary allocations play out, a large part of these order wins will start getting translated over the next few months and next few quarters, which is a huge positive for India Inc. Let's also not forget about that private capex, which largely had been lagging for the last so many quarters. In the past couple of quarters have shown signs of picking up. We're definitely seeing green shoots come through. And as private capex, more orders start coming through, as utilization levels picks up across industries, the private capex itself will act as an enabler for GDP growth as well. So it's a multiplier effect which might actually play out.
Okay, let's take a look at metals. And my God, Shell, we've gone half an hour without talking about metals. This is like a new record, given all the action we see in metals lately. Mayuresh, I'm actually seeing some profit booking this morning. Unbelievable. Copper's down 2%. There you have it. So one trend there kicking off. And I mean, you know what? Everyone's been talking about volatility, especially in silver, which is not entirely unexpected. But perhaps they're asking whether or not it's the beginning of a cool-off on metals, while right now it seems uncertain. What's your take, and what would you be looking at within the basket?
No, as I said, I think, yes, it seems to be a case of profit booking. There are phenomenal moves in 1 month itself, and therefore I think base metals have done exceedingly well. Geopolitics added to the fire, but with Trump's statements coming to and some cool off on geopolitical tensions, you're obviously seeing some element of profits being booked. And there has been a huge rally. No two ways about it. And as I said, I think at this juncture, we'll be inclined to go with the ferrous stocks because our own sense is that the kind of moves that the government has done, specifically when it comes to safeguard duties, not only increases the end product prices, but also will help lift up EBITDA and EBITDA margins for a whole host of cement companies and ancillary plays as well. So I think the next move in like in the metals rally can be the ferrous split.
Let's look at record highs today. Whenever Mayuresh is around, I love this opportunity to tax his brain with good questions on whether to chase momentum or not. MCX, Mayuresh, your plans here, 1.6% higher, fresh record high, a clear play on silver and the strong metals, Larry, that we are seeing as an exchange. This one makes money whether traders make it or not. A view on MCX post the stock split?
No, so stellar move, and you're absolutely right. I think base metals rally and volatility have both added in terms of the average daily traded volumes on the commodity exchange, MCX. And therefore, I think with more contracts expected to get added, newer contracts expected to get added, more market participants expected to get added in terms of market depth, and the new optionalities that the exchange is working out, I think it seems to be a lot more positive going ahead as well. However, at the current juncture, as we look at their EPS ratings, RS ratings, the stock is trading well above its pivot levels as we speak, and therefore having a fresh aggressive entry at this point of time is not warranted. Anybody holding can hold on, but again, fresh entries at this levels because of the extension of the stock in terms of the sheer momentum that it has carried over the last few months. I think it's better to just let the stock cool off.
All right, that's on the MCX. Let's talk about the broader markets, Mayuresh, because that's where the pain is and there's no real respite. Right now, for instance, in HPL Engineering, they've missed a tender. Even though they're maintaining their revenue target, the stock's down 12%. There's so many other such examples of earnings or disappointments or, small triggers that the market's reading into for deep sell-offs on some of these stocks in the broader markets as well. We haven't really talked much about that. Everyone's focused more on the macro picture and the index at this point of time, and it's been the case for a while. So what does an investor do? What's the right strategy in terms of if they're sort of looking, or if they're already invested in the mid caps?
So you have to be very selective, Abha, because I think what is really going to transpire is how earnings are going to play out. Now, a large part of the mid-cap universe, if you probably look 2 and 3 years behind, and the prices thereof are still up, even after the correction that we've seen, 2x, 3x, 4x. And therefore, to justify the kind of moves that they've made in a 2-year time frame based on earnings trajectory will depend on sector and specific stocks. So you just can't go out there and blindly start buying stocks. Sectors which are probably looking in terms of our sectoral allocation, PANRE, which is that universal and institutional software that we carry. A few sectors which are looking in a confirmed uptrend, as I said, which are looking really good. Selective BFSI, as I said, selective consumer discretionary, as pointed out, selective FMCG, as pointed out. And therefore, I think certain pockets will do well. Certain pockets which are looking into a rally attempt are infrastructure, including subsegments like cement and something like realty, which has gone beaten down. But we'll wait and watch and be selective. So I think you have to be very, very selective in these markets.